Welcome to the Roll of Beards. See, I messed it up because I lost my beard.
It was a tragic accident.
It was a Jew flu that took me down. However, welcome everybody to the No More Mercy kickoff event. Those that have been with us for a while, they've seen what we did back in September with No More Mercy or No More Silence. You know, we're going to be covering some really fucking dark shit. Last night we had our first interview drop of the No More Mercy campaign, which is going to become one of the greatest gatherings of survivors, advocates, law enforcement, predator hunters. So me and Trev, we and Jason and a lot of others have been digging into some really heinous shit lately. And when I mean heinous,
horrifying,
yes,
horrifying.
So let's get to our hellos, everybody. Guar, I love you, brother. I saw you in the chat. You were sitting here JD's live, but he chose to be over in the boneyard.
Thank you, Guar.
There's a ride or die for us. We got Yarn. And we got some great interviews in collections inside of what we're doing. And one of them is going to feature our sister Yali. You're just gonna give the ins and outs of what's going on in South Africa. She lives there, and we love you. And I was pretty sick at that time. So was Trev. So. Our wives handled it.
Yeah, you guys will get to see the Roll the Bones wife special. So
the one that they threatened us with a while back, where we let them do it. It turned out great. It was a great conversation.
Yeah, they killed it.
We're honored, Yali, that having you featured amongst the No More Mercy campaign. So.
Keith,
where are we going to begin?
I just wanted to say hi to Keith real quick.
Brother Keith. Do the tinfoil wizard. We see the Yarn. I love you, sis. Morning Star. And, I want to thank Red and Cass always being here. But I promise you tonight, ignorant ass shit, you're going to get tossed very fast and very hard. So basically, long and short of this is we've been reverse engineering the Epstein files. We've been taking names, backtracking them, doing deep investigations into who they are, what companies are they connected with. People aren't fucking mad enough about all this shit. Not mad at enough, not even close. Anybody that pretends that you are, if you're not out there legitimately, we should be storming the streets. None of this no kings bullshit. None of this motherfucking, fucking just ridiculousness that we've seen in protests. This is the number one thing that you should be furious about, and you should be taking this to the streets loud and viciously. We have the satanic elite have been doing this for hundreds of years, kidnapping our kids, murder, cannibalism, hunting them, turning it's fucking diabolical. There's so many players in this. Like, people think that Jeffrey Epstein's just like one. It's the only face that we should be looking at. No, he's one of many, and they've replaced him already. There's always going to be one of them while we allow it to happen. And we're like one of the only countries in the world that isn't doing a fucking thing about it. We literally watched Bill Clinton smiling at his fucking deposition. Hillary Clinton having a temper tantrum because she got called out for this. What? Read me that thing. We'll start with that one. Remember Trev, right before we got started, you were reading me your Google search on how Google views Pizzagate and Frazzle Drip.
All right, so Frazzle Drip or frazzled.rip is a thoroughly debunked extreme conspiracy theory that emerged in 2018 within QAnon circles. It alleges the existence of dark web snuff film purportedly found on former Representative Anthony Weiner's laptop, showing Hillary Clinton and her aide Huma I'm gonna butcher that. Abedin torturing and murdering a young girl, drinking her blood, and wearing her face as a mask. Here are the details regarding the conspiracy theory. Origin and claims. The theory claimed that a video named frazzle.rip was discovered in a folder labeled life insurance on Weiner's laptop, which was seized by the FBI. Believers alleged that the video showed a satanic ritual sacrificing of a child by top Democratic figures. Fabricated evidence. The evidence supporting this claim consisted with fabricated images and videos. One widely circulated image allegedly showing Huma wearing the victim's face was actually a photo of the owner of a Washington, D.C. restaurant taken from their website. Connection to other theories. Frazzle Drip is an offshoot of the Pizzagate conspiracy theory and a significant component of the broader QAnon conspiracy, which alleges global elite capable of satanic child traffickers. Amplifications. Despite being baseless, the theory was heavily pushed by YouTube and recommendation algorithms and spread on social media platforms. It was performed by figures such as Mandarine Taylor Greene before she became a member of Congress, debunking. There is no evidence that such a video exists and these events took place. This is considered a form of deep fake information.
You know what? And that I'm glad you said that because it's listed Pizzagate and all that. It referenced in the files, cannibalism. And it's going to bring me to our first clip. This is what Alex Jones has been saying about it, for forever. So we'll start with this one.
Then we've got Epstein emails about there's one piece of pizza for 7 people. It's got a great glow. It's really excited about it. You're going to really love it. People say, man, last time I'm seeing shadows. I'm freaked out. I can't take part. Oh, you don't know how to enjoy this. It's just like Podesta, 3 kids being delivered to your hot tub for your pleasure, 7, 9, and 11. That's all confirmed. And there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. These people are psychotics. They are sociopaths. They have no, and to them, you don't even get in the club unless and I told you, it's not just 14-year-old girls. That's the gateway drug, okay? That's like marijuana compared to Oxycontin. They talk about ritual murder, torture, drinking blood, cannibalism. These are real emails that are Jeffrey Epstein's, okay? See, I told you, it ain't just screwing 14-year-old girls. It is killing babies. It is raping babies. It is drinking their blood. It is adrenochrome, okay? This is all real. Ted Gunderson told me all this 30-something years ago. Then we've got Epstein.
So this topic it's widely talked about within the Epstein files. The small portion that we've received, they've only put out about 7 million out of 35 plus million.
Well, and that's just people. I don't think a lot of people understand this, that there's case files from other countries that we don't have access to.
See, that's the thing is we do though. Because now the Russians, it makes it have been putting this out. They're holding as many people responsible as possible. Good. There is tons of what was it? One of the first people that stepped in was it? I believe it was Norway. They had a former president and they fucking straightened him out instantly.
Yep.
Removed his titles. You had the UK. Yeah, they straightened out Prince Andrew, but how many other motherfuckers in the royal family are
Right,
part of
and,
that? How many
you
other
know,
ranking members of parliament are
I
involved?
would guess that, especially when it comes to the UK, like my guess would be like that's part of being in the royal family. That's part of your, that's part of what they do. Like,
They're part of the
100%
one of the
complete.
13 bloodlines
Right, exactly.
that govern the world.
Right, and that's something that I think that people who are gonna, people want to debate this. People want to say XYZ the third, like, and not believe this, but Chris and I and a few other people have been doing such deep investigations and pulling case files and doing research for hundreds of years back that it is a real thing. And, we will be proving as much as we can prove to you guys during this campaign that we're running right now. Over the next month, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be heavy. I know we like to fuck around and put on tinfoil hats and talk whatever, but all of this shit is real and it needs to be brought to light. And I just hope for everybody who does watch this currently and in the future, they take this shit to heart and it opens up their mind and their eyes a little bit and they truly start to understand just how deep and dark this shit goes.
Everybody's involved.
Everyone.
This isn't oh, it's the Republicans, oh, it's the Democrats. No, they're all involved. Both sides of it. And the thing is and as far as if you want to the politics behind it, you know what? For all the fucking idiots that have been sitting there, oh well, Trump's in the files. You know what? I'm tired of your fucking selective outrage, because you know what? There was a monster load of Democrats, ranking members, including Barack Obama, his wife, Michelle, or
Michael.
Michael, fucking Bill Clinton, Alan Dershowitz, Hillary Clinton. The
list goes on. It's fucking damn near endless.
We'll stop with the crocodile tears and the fucking bullshit. Like you actually give a fuck. You don't. If the only thing that comes out of your mouth is Trump's in the files, and that's the only name you're focused on, then you're a piece of shit who's ignorant and you need to bounce. Get the fuck out. You're not about shit. You don't believe in shit. And that's just the fact of the matter. I don't care if you get mad about it. I don't care when you crash out in the comment sections that me and Trev are a threat to humanity. I don't give a shit. You know what? You, by not holding everybody accountable, are a threat to humanity. You're a disservice to every fucking kid that's been picked up off the street, that's disappeared. You know what? And they're fucking, if you listen to what Jesse Zabata said in that interview last night, there are children being impregnated in underground facilities that are off the record, that no one's looking for them because they don't know what exists. There's no paper trail. There's nothing. It is by far, that was one of the hardest conversations I think I've had so far, next to the other woman I can't get into just yet. We're waiting for legal approval for that conversation, and I promise you that this young girl survived one of the greatest atrocities that's ever happened in this world, in this life.
Fucking brutal, absolutely brutal shit. And it's, I don't know for everybody who's in chat right now if you guys watched the video from last night, but that, it was hard for me to watch for sure. And there's a reason that I was not part of that conversation with you. I some of that shit I just can't handle. But what people need to expect out of our content in the next month is that's just the tip of the fucking iceberg. Shit is getting fucked up, man. And not to say that her story is any less important than any of the ones that are going to be coming out, but this shit is just, it's a rabbit hole that once you find and you start going down, it's horrifying. All of it is just it's almost jaw dropping.
I cried enough going through the process and the things that I've, the conversations that I've had, and I've had a lot of them. And I know the satanic stuff, it's a really dark road. I'm not upset that, about it. I understood your position on it. Like, you know what I mean? But the thing that's the most motherfucking unnerving thing is, because we'll talk about the thing we were watching and investigating. It's kind of what it started the rabbit hole. Was Chateau Amaroi in Belgium. I touched on it a little bit in the interview with Jesse Zabater. So in the 90s, and it goes on forever, Chateau Amaroi, it stands for Mothers of Darkness Castle. It's one of their seats of power that they hold these eyes wide shut parties. Where the blackmail things, it's not just child sexual abuse that happens there. It's the places like this are always strategically positioned near seats of power. So conveniently in Belgium, not far from there, you have the headquarters of NATO, you have the Sovereign Army, and you have the British Union.
And you have Pfizer and all sorts.
Not Pfizer. One of the links to it, the people that own this place, I look like John Cusack from Hot Tub. Thanks, Guar. One of the worst things about this, like what Trev was saying, it was the Solvay company. They have attachments to this thing. The Solvay company are actually the ones responsible for creating Prozac. They were responsible for creating fluoride. So it's like, there's tons of rabbit holes and conspiracies you can go down on fluoride in the water, and so it's a pharmaceutical company.
Yeah. It's a massive pharmaceutical company.
What they do is that you have all these elites coming from different parts of the world, whether it's for government business or or finance or diplomacy, whatever it might be. They're coming to one place, and where you get the hooks in is that they lure them to these parties. Back in the 90s, there was he's been dubbed a serial killer. He was just another Jeffrey Epstein type, complete monster. His name was Mark Dutroux. Mark Dutroux had been trafficking kids to Chateau Amaroi for years. His own family gave him up. Like it said, they had caught him holding a child. They had tipped him, the police off. And also there was a journalist, Fritz Springmeier, that put in the fucking work. Nobody believed him. Everybody said he was crazy. And you know what happened was they broke the case, and they found, when the people in that country figured out that there were government, high profile government figures that had the White March in 96. Look it up, the White March 1996. And you watch several 100,000 people storm the streets demanding the politicians and any of the scum involved get held accountable. You know what? I can tell you right now, when growing up, I don't remember any news about the White March happening, period. So, and you know what? And then you see, in light of what's going on with the Epstein files, complete fucking crickets.
Right. Can you pin Keith's comment real quick?
Hold on, let me see. Over 20,000 kids came across the border in the past 5 years, and our government lost them. Oh yeah, 100%, bro. Then just like, and the thing is, you had one woman assigned to every damn case of the ones that were in the foster care. And trust me and Trev over the next month are going to rip down the CPS system as well, because they are complicit in some of the, and I'm not saying that all of them are, but there was all the members of CPS are there, but they have way too much fucking power. There is way too much fucking lying on paperwork and manipulation of this. Know your fucking rights. For one, they cannot just show up at your house without a cop and a signed warrant from a judge telling you that your kids are leaving. That ain't happening. And it's like, there are some kids in cases that absolutely should be taken away, but not, there is way too many cases of them failing the system, and they're using their power to take kids, and bad shit happens. These kids go into foster care, select foster homes. So you have these foster homes are making tons of money off of, you know, having kids in their homes. It's a whole illegal business. And I'm going to show you, brings me to this other clip with Robert Steele, who Robert Steele is a name you should really get familiar with. He had passed away from complications of COVID back in 21 or 22. But this is an example of him explaining the structure of how these organizations are and what's happening out there. Like, he's been saying this for years. So I'm going to go to this clip.
These children are not just kidnapped and in some cases bred by families as a cash crop. We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them and have no one ask where they are. We're also importing children by the plane load. Again, children who have no documentation. It's not just child slavery or child sex abuse. It's also child torture, because you have adrenalized blood. You have the whole blood drinking ceremony of the Satanic world. It's also the use of children for harvesting body organs. And then you have ritual ceremonies and ritual murder, as well as incidental murder. Most organizations that end up being used to prey on children, Oxfam is a recent example, all of the United Nations organizations, the Boy Scouts of America, all of the child services agencies across the United States of America, they did not start out as organizations to prey on children, but they attract pedophiles. And ultimately, pedophiles end up rising in the ranks and controlling those organizations, so that an organization that initially started out in the service of children becomes an organization that is in fact hunting children.
It's sobering to hear, you know, shit like that. Like, no matter how many times I run into these clips, we watch these clips and we send these clips back and forth and, you know, get ready to put it into a stream. Like, hearing that shit, just like, for me personally, it almost brings tears to my eyes. It's such a sobering fact that, you know, people are talking about this, but nothing is happening, which means not enough people are talking about this. You're completely right what you said earlier. There needs to be a fucking mass protests. There needs to be, like, if these Antifa fucking retards can protest in such mass ways like they have been for the last year and a half in Portland and across, you know, the western part of the United States, why the fuck can't good able-bodied Americans do the same thing to bring this shit to light? It needs to happen. It needs to happen. I've been saying for almost a year now that there's got to be a flashpoint. There's got to be a flashpoint.
You know what? And I've been saying this. You know, if you go back and you watch my interview with Jason a year ago, it was a year ago today it aired. Me and Jason sat and we talked about the fact that back then people were not fucking angry enough. And this is before we knew that Jeffrey Epstein was a topic of conversation, not to this degree. A lot of what's being said, it was still conspiracy. It was still, you know, there was still punishment, you know, and backlash. I mean, Jesse Zabater, you know, people like this, they weren't even in the realm of conversations yet, really. And we, like we had stated, that these are simple common ground arguments. That, you know, if you know, look, you want to fight about, you know, policies and this and that, we can do that constructively. That's the spirit of debate. We had said we had talked about this after No More Silence. We need to cool down the hatred between each other. And people, I think, are more people are migrating to the American first thing, like the American Reich, and everything that Chris Gallion is building over there with all the phenomenal members of that is an American first movement. And there's more people that are tired of the right and the left. Even me and Ant talk about this all the time, that there is a left, there's a right, and then there's the people of common sense that want nothing to do with either of them. And honestly, our country, I have no use for either side. I am not gonna like, I don't agree with getting drawn into every fucking needless war. And it's like, because our soldiers are getting killed, you know, all the time, and built on satanic elite lies. And I'm not faulting the U.S. military, and I respect them, and I love them, and I have so much admiration for them. It's like, but how many people, have been horrifically wounded, including Brother Cody, by the actions and the lies that these pieces of shit they create, because they make money out of it. War's a business.
We just lost more American souls today, or yesterday, or today, over dealing with this fucking bullshit that's going on overseas right now. It is, war is, I know that I've said this to you personally. I don't think we've ever spoke about it in a live, but I had a technically, family member who told me when I was real young, he was it's like, sorry, I got all spaced out there. But he had told me that, this war is always for God. And I was like, what do you mean for God? And he said, guns, oil, drugs. It's what it's about. So if if we're losing more American souls today, yesterday, whichever one, maybe both, over in Iran, Afghanistan, the Middle East, all the shit that's going on right now, it's almost like anytime something major like this comes out, or there's another big leap in the Epstein files, or people are starting to wake up more, become red-pilled more, it's like, okay, how do we distract him? And it seems to me that the American government loves to fucking either start or jump into wars that we don't need to be in as a distraction, or to keep people fucking busy with other things.
Well, and it kind of plays to what, I have more clips and stuff that kind of plays to what you were saying. Like, all right, a prime example, Hillary Clinton, I've even heard talks about this, with the whole Oklahoma City bombing, there was files. I can't remember. Ant just told me about this the other day, so I haven't got a chance to really dig into it. The Oklahoma City bombing had a role in destroying certain evidence. 9/11. I know we're going to rip into that live at some point. We've been putting that one off because every time that we think we're prepared for it, we find more shit. But the thing is that Hillary Clinton is by far one of the worst individuals in history, in at least U.S. history, if not the world. It's not just Donald Trump. Donald Trump is one grain of sand on that beach. He answers to the higher powers, which is the Luciferian Brotherhood and all the other ones. I don't believe. I think that Trump is a pedophile rapist. I don't believe that, but I do believe that he was compromised somewhere down the line. And they got him somewhere. Well, now whether there's a lot of, he's involved in real estate and land deals, I don't know. I don't want to speculate right now until me and Trev had ample time. We have about 17,000 files we have to go through, and trust me, we comb them very carefully. And we have to, and then plus we have to check with our lawyer, and it's a lot of different things.
A lot of steps involved. There's definitely a lot of steps involved.
But the thing is that let me just see, where is this one clip? I don't know how I have to load it in real quick. But in the meantime, bro, Hillary Clinton, in the Clinton Foundation has been connected to more corrupt bullshit than you can imagine. She's fucking lying right on the fucking inner deposition. I don't know who. I barely met Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know who Ghislaine Maxwell is. She knew well enough to be at her fucking daughter's wedding.
Right.
There's plenty of pictures of her smiling and joking around with him. So how about we cut the bullshit? And everybody she just gets a pass as always. But
bro, it's so demonic. Like, that woman is so fucking demonic. Like, and then I see clips of people being like, "Oh, she's a lizard person," and it's like, dude, not to get super weird and put on a tinfoil hat, but like, I wouldn't. Who knows what she is? I don't think she's a human. She's a fucking demon. You know what I mean?
Jesse believes that she's already dead. I mean, there's a lot of things, and we've seen with the CIA masks and that's a thing, and the body doubles, and then you've seen the whole thing. Look what Jim Carrey just pulled. He just smacked the fuck out of everybody and just said, "Are you paying attention yet?" You know what I mean? So here's a good example. This is Jesse Zabater talking about Hillary Clinton. I'm going to play this real quick.
It's not her. It's a good faker, but it's not her. They would not be pulling her in. They would not be treating her that way if it was the real Hillary, because people feared her. They feared the things that they witnessed her do. And, there's no way that they would be doing the stuff that they're doing. Who's really giving the schools, the sheriffs, the communities, the ability to traffic these children while not being held to account? It's your courts, your judges, your lawyers. And what was her past? A lawyer, right? Who is she protecting in that? That's her duty. That's her brotherhood vow, is to cover her brother's sin. Who are all the brother's sins she's covering? Well, where'd the laptop come from? What's the connection there? Werner was a past boyfriend, husband, partner of Huma Abedin, right? The very person that she's engaging in that movie Frazzle Drip with in killing a child. Who's now married to Soros' son, who was a councilman, the phoenix of a council, right? Boy, the world is small. It just keeps turning around. They just continue to cover, the sins.
Like, this bitch has been like, you have the Clinton list, 46 people, and that's what's known.
Right.
How many other people?
It's got to be 4 times that, dude, at least at bare minimum. Right.
And nobody finds it weird that Huma Abedin is now married to George Soros' son.
Yeah,
the guy that's one of the biggest funders of these Antifa fucking riots and protests. It's everything is, all this chaos you see is manufactured by them.
Right.
What do you think?
Just like I was saying with the war shit, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, it's a big. She is by far, war is a profit center.
Right.
People they earn their way off of the blood of others, because and I'll play another clip from Robert Steele in a minute that really sums up not only who Hillary Clinton is, but also what exactly what the war really is and what these things really are about. It's like it goes even further than just guns, oil and drugs. It's everything about the Clinton Foundation is a humanitarian thing. It's just a money laundering scheme for them to funnel money back and forth to, in whitewash.
Buy and sell children.
Oh yeah, here, like I'll play this one for you. Check this out. This was one of those ones we came across that really fucking, started the digging into shit. Yeah, check this one out.
Is the biggest organized crime family that I know of. For example, Hillary Clinton took money from the Russians to sell American uranium to Russia. She took money from the Saudi Arabians to sell Syria and Yemen to Saudi Arabia and to justify ISIS and protect ISIS. Hillary Clinton is probably the single most corrupt politician in U.S. history since Lyndon Baines Johnson. And as Secretary of State, money would come into the Clinton Foundation and U.S. support would go out. And by the way, the reason we have 1,000 military bases is not for military power. They're lily pads for smuggling. That is how CIA smuggles gold, guns, drugs, cash, and small children for the elites in the United States. War is a profit center, not just for oil. War produces body parts. It produces orphans. It produces all kinds of human goods that can then be trafficked. And the banks rely on war and drugs for their cash flow, for their...
It's like I said before, dude. This shit's just so it doesn't matter how many times I listen to it or, you know, see even the same clip over. It's just sobering. Like,
yeah, bro. You know, you see, like, let's see, like right here. These are here's a list of names right here from Jesse Sabater's sworn testimony of people involved in these things.
and keep in mind, people, this is a stamped, like, certified copy. Like, this is legit as it gets.
We have Father Larry Gooley. We have St. Mary by the Sea Catholic Church, Father Angelo T., Sacred Heart Catholic Church in Oregon, the law enforcement of Tillamook, Oregon, Chief Terry Wright from Tillamook, Oregon, Tiffany Bauer, Charles Esmond Cindercombe Bulmer Bauer, Michael Santos, the Tillamook Family Counseling Center. This is just like, these are small parts of it. Carlsbad Observatory, Magnolia School in Carlsbad. You have the Lutheran Church in Carlsbad, California. There's a list of Masonic lodges here. Kamala Harris, Senator John Kerry, William Barr of the DOJ, General Michael Flynn, the Duke of Kent, Bill and Hillary Clinton, Bill and Melinda Gates. This fucking list keeps going. I got 12 pages of names here. And this is just a fraction of that. You know, like right here, scans of some of the map locations of these things. You know, we have SAT images in here. This is a sworn testimony, notarized, recognized. It's out there for anybody to read. I think I may have it. If I don't have it linked, Kale, if you want to put it up in the chat, people can go and read it for themselves.
Do you have the photo available of the staging ground? That one is a sobering sight.
Right there.
So that is a staging ground for where they would do the hunts when they would hunt, where they would hunt children.
She said they operate these hunts about every 4 months, maybe 6 months. You know, it's right there. Witnessed, testimony date, sworn statement right there. I am done playing this fucking game. Hell, man. You know, which I'm gonna break into this one too. I mean, Trev had sent me a file. Not one of the Epstein files. Yeah, Whitey Bulger named in it. There was a girl who gave a statement. She's been fighting with it. She named off all kinds of motherfuckers. Said she had witnessed, you know, fucking Whitey Bulger and Kevin Weeks do a snatch and grab on a child. You know, I had some motherfuckers sitting here and crashing out when I had this conversation privately. Where's your evidence? Well, yeah, no shit, it's alleged. But the thing is it's in the Epstein files. It was a fucking dark name. Like, we're not going to sit here and paint that Whitey Bulger was some fucking saint. He was a gangster. He was also the product of MK Ultra. The thing that they told us that didn't exist, never happened. Well, there's widespread documents that MK Ultra is a fucking thing. So it's like, how many more conspiracies are people gonna come out before people start opening their motherfucking eyes?
Right.
How many more kids are we gonna allow to be trafficked and killed?
what I just urge people who have children to think is, think about if your kid went missing and you could never find them.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like 99% of the time, my vote is going to be some fucked up shit happened to you. Like, regardless if some twisted, sick individual does some fucked up shit, kills them, buries them, whatever, or if they get trafficked into one of these situations.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I mean,
if
dude,
that's
a lot
your
of
kid, you know, I've seen plenty of videos of even 20 years later, parents pleading for just some sort of closure. So, us as Americans, us as families, fathers, mothers, we need to figure something out and come together and fucking make sure that this at least is brought to light to a degree to where it's not in the shadows anymore. It's at least common talk. It's at least something that people are somewhat knowledgeable about. It's, you know, like I was talking to my dad yesterday, and like he doesn't really stay up to beat with a lot of shit, and my little sister was telling him about the Epstein files, and like his mind was blown, and I was like, dude, like you just need to sit down and like we're going to have a long conversation, and you just need to prepare yourself.
yeah, you know what? It's hard, and the thing is it's hard for people to wrap your head around. Like, how is it possible that this is a thing? And you know what? Honestly, between Guar talking about Guar talking about that movie The Hunt, and then Morningstar bringing up like the movies that they produce, doesn't it make you kind of curious that where would somebody come up with the idea and the concept for the movie Hostel? Elites paying to torture, the torture and do whatever to. What do you think, they just pulled these ideas out of their ass? What kind of sick motherfucker sits down and was like, you know what, that sounds like a great idea for a movie, and just came out of nowhere? No, somewhere down the road that these movies, some of them are routed in fact.
It's got to be more than some. Like, it's got to be like all of the ones that are just way too out there. Like, I would venture to say even probably like Saw, like the Saw movies somewhere have connection to something in real life. Like,
sure,
it's got to be, because like unless these people who come up with these movies are like fucking criminally insane, like full out there, weirdos, it's not
this
happening.
is another good one right here. Yeah, Squid Games. That one fucking maniac would come up with a show where you play red light, green light, and if you move, you get your head blown off.
Right.
You know what the thing is that it's like Guar makes a good point. It's always based on true reality. We're in like these hunting parties. These things exist. They're happening. And I mean, I've talked to 2 survivors of it, and I believe them. Yeah, I mean, they might be trying to normalize violence, but there's a lot of other ways to condition it, and they do that by making people experience real life violence. In half of our country over the last 10 years, like our children's generation only knows chaos. Especially for we both, me and you both have kids that were born COVID babies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Think about the life in a world that has been their world since they've been here.
Well, especially compared to our teenagers, like it's such a night and day difference. Like, it's absolutely crazy. I'm gonna turn my fan off real quick. I'll be right back. I'm freezing.
You're not mad enough, Trev. You're not mad enough.
No.
like, yeah, it's just a movie. So obviously, Guar is, you're old like I am. I know I look 10 without the beard, but I'm old enough, to remember that phrase. Oh, it's just a movie, you know. Um, this shit is like, there's so many different things that, like, we're gonna cover over this next month and a half. Like, we're gonna do a whole live, the Herald of Atrocity. It's gonna be Jeffrey Epstein. We're gonna get into the BCR raids. If you haven't seen the BCR raids, it was a bio research company where people can donate their bodies to science. Well, that's not what they were doing over there. They were chainsawing bodies. They stitched a small woman's head on top of a grown man's, like a large man's body, and had it hanging from the ceiling. Buckets of heads and body parts. That was right in Phoenix, bro.
You know what we need to that just reminded me, and we need to look into, because it could have some connection, is there's a place here in southern Colorado that was doing the same thing, like donated bodies for science, and they got hit with multiple counts of abuse of a corpse. I believe it was a husband and a wife, and it was, to my knowledge, and it just may not be released, but like they didn't find like body parts stitched together, but they did find like mass amounts of, like, it looked like they were selling organs and all sorts of shit. Like they were finding buckets of fucking, arms and all sorts of shit. So, and the fucked up thing is they had a, this was also a morgue. So if they're giving you, say, you say your loved one dies and, you get them cremated and they give you, here's your loved one, but the body's still in the back. What the fuck are they giving you? Is it sand? Is it somebody else's body? Is it a mix up of, 20 different fucking people's arms? Like, what is it?
Well, hold on. We got Sergeant Bowden joining us. Brother,
what's up?
Just in time.
I'm the only one not matching with the fucking American right gear. That's fucked
You're
up.
supporting Roll the Bones. That's the important thing. We like, you have Brother JD. Is that, wait, hold on, I can't tell. Is that your JD delay hat, or is that?
No, it's not. That's my Webby hat.
All right. Well, regardless, Webby.
I support JD every day because it's tattooed down my shins, and then I got Roll the Bones on the knee. You know what I mean?
You just missing the one light tattoo.
I'm gonna get one big candle like right here.
But yeah, I've hit a point where it's all I've done is I'm just furious at everything that I've gone on. I've looked into. I mean, Cody, we've talked about it. Trev, we've talked about it at length. This stuff. And here I got a clip I'll play for you guys. Since we were talking about the elite hunting parties, this is Jesse explaining what they are in more detail than what we had talked about yesterday.
Hillary was specifically chosen by the Mothers of Darkness and the Satanic Council. So I had a lot of experiences with her in Chicago in the early 1980s, which did include, witnessing, I'll just say, multiple murders. With the hunting parties, I witnessed one of those in 1982 at the Rothschilds' Black Forest Lodge. The elite who are healthy, who are well, who are younger, they would release the children that they would hold captive in caverns around that area, usually at dusk, and then they would hunt all night for the kids. But they would release them and hunt for them. That would include, rape and then murder. For the older individuals who are, not able to go out in the woods, they're getting older, they will have the youngest children inside the house. So they'd have those who are like 5 and younger in the house. Older people would hunt them within the house or the lodge. Usually, like with the ones in the house, they would just be raped and used for sex magic. They wouldn't necessarily kill them. Hillary would.
How many more, like, you know, and the thing is that there's more of these women and survivors that are out there that are survivors of this. Like, you know, like like you, Cody, you've been around the world. You've seen a lot of experience, a lot of diabolical encounters, dude, with real evil. Like how are you processing this? One, from a military standpoint, and two, from a religious standpoint.
It's like you guys said, it's almost unbelievable to a point, but like then it's not, right? You see people every day that they do things that you wouldn't think that they do. Military wise, I know from we spoke about this the other day. Like I knew back then not what was going on, but I knew that we weren't allowed to touch certain parts of our loads, which didn't make sense. Like a Connex going from Alaska to Iraq back to Alaska. Why is there a certain spot like, hey, you unload everything? It's a bunch of deployment bags. It's got a bunch of extra underwear in it. You know what I mean? Like what are you sticking in there that's so top secret that we can't touch, you know, or whatnot? And the way they hit it is just by not, you know, they had the guys that didn't have any rank, nor did they care. You know what I mean? Their life sucked to begin with, and much less to care about what's in a box in the back of their Connex, you know. But it's not that hard to tranquilize, put them on oxygen, and put them in that thing long enough for them to ship them. You know, I mean, if you think those Connexes, they can move them by plane pretty quick in a C-17.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can fly, I would say 4. I think you can fit four mini Connexes or 2 large Connexes in a C-17. It'll fly an Abrams, so it can weigh more, but size-wise, you know. And religiously, I think Jesse sums it up best. Like they have so many people fooled because it is the people with those morals. Like they don't break their cover for nothing. Like they live their life as the Pope, or they live their life as, you know, the homemaker wife, or whatever it is that they do. And if somebody steals a piece of gum, they're calling the cops on them, and they don't even cuss or nothing, you know. And then all of a sudden they're drinking adrenochrome, or they're over there, you know, wearing a baby's face on theirs. You know, it doesn't quite make sense. And, you know, I was watching the chat, and you see that most of it, like a lot of people, that they know, but like their family doesn't believe it. Their parents don't believe it. Well, I mean, the Clintons were idolized, but why should we not believe Bill and them were involved in everything under the sun? You know, he was caught up in 2 major scandals, Monica and the weed thing, because he said, oh, I didn't inhale. Yeah, because everybody doesn't inhale. That makes a whole lot of sense. You know, but they bought it back then, and then Monica was just under the desk hanging out, you know, and then he admitted to that.
Just shining shoes, you know.
Shining shoes in the middle of the Oval Office with no, you know, he had no pants on, and she had no, you know, her mouth full the whole time. But, you know, I think that people, the way they've done it is best described. It's overload, right? They have traumatically overloaded us through our phone. I mean, if you look back to MySpace, right? MySpace was like all about like talking to people. You know, it really was
your favorite song.
Yeah, it was AOL with pictures, right? You know,
right.
It wasn't so much of my status. And then you went to Facebook, and Facebook is like, hey, and Instagram is like, hey, check out my life. And then TikTok hits. And TikTok and Instagram compete with, you know, who can put up the goriest shit, and how many times can you show Charlie Kirk get assassinated? You know, and if you think like that, just in the past 12 months, or no, let's go back a little bit further than that. Let's go back to October 7th. When Israel they got told to stand down. They, you know, they gave the stand down, or they didn't get told to stand down. They gave the stand down and all that. And nobody wanted to believe them. There ain't no way that actually happened. It's like, no, there's complete actual ways that happens. you know, and ever since then, it's something even more violent, even more traumatic, to the point when you go watch the news and it's like some dude shot up a Catholic school and hit 6 kids and, you know, drove his truck over the teacher on the way in. You're like, sounds like a Tuesday in America, you know,
Right.
and it's gone. I mean,
Well,
Nancy Guthrie, where's she at? Nobody cares about her. They started a war and all of a sudden Nancy Guthrie's gone. She didn't get home.
they're doing, you know, it's more than that now. Like, you know, I get bored and sometimes I like to watch people fist fight, right? Like, you know, it's one of my pastimes. Like, you know, just that's one of the things that I watch. Just it is what it is. And I think my sister recommended me this app and it's called Scoops. And so like I downloaded it, bunch of fist fights on there, cool. And then it started getting into like shootouts between gang members and it like, you know, CCTV footage. And then it got into like real deal, like people getting whacked, like holding the phone, blasting somebody, like,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not doing this. And right before that, like almost what kind of popped that next course of like really graphic violence on that app was when Charlie got martyred. That him getting martyred was, you know, I will never use the word murder with him. He was a martyr, period. But him getting martyred was so graphic and was seen all over the world. Like I remember it like it was yesterday. Chris and I were talking. Cody and I were getting ready to go see him, you know, a couple days, like 3 days later, some shit like that. And, you know, Cody, Chris and I are talking about trying to get him on the show. And boom, like, and then it spread like a wildfire. And on that app, it was like every single time I scrolled,
Yeah.
it was another angle. It was another, you know, it's fucked off. So I think they engineer. What I'm getting at is I think like they engineer these apps because like my little sister is 19, right? So she's the one who told me about this app. I think that they're engineering these apps purposefully to really like jade people, like the younger generations, like
Desensitize them to violence
as fast as possible.
And listen, you can like, you know, and I agree with Bane. You know, I do find it kind of odd how they I don't believe that Charlie Kirk's alive in some island somewhere. I just don't. You know, it's kind of like every time somebody dies, and this is kind of the social media conditioning that, you know, people have been placed under is, you know, like when their favorite character in a movie dies, oh, like, you know, he's gonna pop up in a couple scenes from now, or you think he's dead, like, or it's like, you know, he's just gonna become another Tupac's alive or Elvis is alive, and you know, like it's like, listen, it's, you know, we witnessed a very vicious public execution of somebody,
yeah,
who was killed. Probably, I think what people need to focus on was why was he killed. And I do not believe that Tyler Robinson was a shooter. I believe that he was given a fat check, was like they gave him one last chance to dance, like take this fucking Jew money, or, you know, he turned the shekels down and it cost him his life because he found some fucking bullshit. Because, you know, Charlie Kirk was digging into the Epstein files.
Yep.
He was digging into all kinds of stuff. He started backing off of different things, and it cost him his life. You know, they offered him to go out for reconditioning. Like, oh yeah, like, you know, come tour. Like, you ever seen they do those celebrity parties? They invite you out to Israel. And no, like there was what the hell was his name? The Asian, he's a comedian. He was on Joe Rogan. He was talking about it. How he went out there and said it was the weirdest fucking thing he'd ever seen. Like, yeah, a friend of his had him go. Like, and they just make it seem like hey, look at us. It's almost like having Kim Jong-un tell you like everybody in our country loves us. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing bad here. You know, they have a long track record of being at the oh no. If he's alive, then David Blaine and Chris Angel are his bitch in the illusion in the illusion world. There were 10 camera angles from random citizens. Was Courtney Love involved with Kurt Cobain's death? Yes. Was Erica? See, now, well, I mean, was Courtney, I think, isn't it proven that Courtney Love was involved in Kurt Cobain's death? Because aren't they ruling it a murder? But
yeah,
listen,
sure.
there was so much weirdo shit that happened with Erica Kirk beyond, like, you know, Charlie's like death. Like, there's people with Turning Point that have left because of strange policies, like, you know.
Well, they put in
changes.
He's an operative.
As soon as definitely Mossad all day, but they put in just like 10 days after Charlie's death. They put in somebody who would have never ever been allowed to be on the Charlie Kirk show. Ever, like, for specific reasons, you know what I mean, that I don't even have to say. We already know.
Erica's dirtier than my work pants.
Well, you know what's crazy too, and this is something that I wanted to bring up with the body doubles shit, is if what's his name, Drewski, that fat black comedian dude, or like a rapper, I don't know what he is, but he made himself look like a white dude last summer or like earlier this year. And then he dressed himself up like Erica Kirk like last week or some shit. If a African American can, between makeup and non-permanent prosthetics, can make themselves look like a different race, a different gender, like, dude, I go back and look at some of these clips of Biden from his last run, and it's like, you can fucking see the mask is like here, like it cuts off here. And like, you can just see all the way around. It's like, why did no one, I wasn't paying attention because I didn't like the fucking dude. I wasn't watching anything that had to do with him.
Oh, he was a pedophile.
Like, how can you not notice that this fucking rubber mask stops right here? It's a different skin tone and it goes all the way around the fucking, like.
Well, John Kirikow he was that CIA whistleblower. He's the one that outed all that shit with the masks. And I watched somebody do a demonstration. This woman was a CIA spook that had, you know, she was 27 years old. That bitch turned into a 67-year-old man in like fucking 3 seconds, dude. Like, you know, it, you know, of course it's when it comes to that stuff, I'm like on the fence, because there's a point, and it's still maybe that conditioning. It's like, yeah, it becomes a very James Bond, but so does this shit, you know, with the elites hunting kids. It's like, you don't even, like, who the fuck even knows anymore? Like, you know, you look at like all the bizarre deaths. Like, they're saying that Paul Walker was out in the Clinton Foundation's bullshit down in fucking in Haiti. I don't, she won't blink either. So, I mean, like, it might be a staring contest for real. I don't think she has eyelids. You know what I mean? And she got that look, like, it just like pierces like through your soul, dude. Like, but
I can say I was super wrong. I felt so like, because, you know, I was a huge Charlie Kirk fan. Like, I believed in his message. I believed pretty much in everything he stood for. Like, maybe a couple minor things, not so much, but
you know, like he was almost on this platform. You know what I mean?
Literally,
we were working it out.
We were literally ironing it out the day that he fucking died.
And it's just like, even how they handled the investigation, and it's crazy. When was the last time you actually heard, outside of like Candace reporting on it, or the occasional, you know, JD brings it up every now and then. He'll bring up when something new comes out. But when was the last motherfucking time Like, you actually saw anything in relation to the investigation of his murder, the Tyler Robinson, anything? Nothing.
Anything. The last thing I think publicly that I saw, as far as like mainstream media, was the boyfriend disappeared, or the boyfriend, something about the boyfriend. I can't remember.
They found him and he disappeared again.
Yeah. So that's the last thing, and that was months and months ago. Well, what I was saying is, like, I for a minute, like, I felt really truly bad for Erica, and I was, I was like, man, like, with the type of man that Charlie was, and that being his wife, his soulmate, blah 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 blah. Like, I was like, I felt really bad, like, for her, for his children. I still feel bad for his children, but like, I'm one to say, like, if I'm wrong, or if I get fucking, if somebody can convince me one way or another that I'm right or wrong, I'll admit if I'm fucking wrong. And I was wrong about that bitch. She is an evil, she's a fucking Mossad agent, as far as I'm concerned. Like,
it always comes back. It always goes back to them, Netanyahu. He's a complete Yahoo himself. Like, like, people should really consider the fact of, like, what Goyim are. Like, that's us. Like, we're cattle. We're pieces of shit to them. Nobody gives a fuck. And I don't give a shit. Like, you can sit there, it's anti-Semitism. It's whatever. No, it's like, what? Have you ever seen the videos of how they treat Christians in Israel? Though I watched this. There was an Asian woman. She was over there just enjoying the fact that she was in Israel, going to this place, and there was people walked up, smacked that bitch right in the mouth, bro, spit in her face. You know what I mean? Ripped her fucking cross right up her neck. Made her feel like degraded her, like, in ways that, like, it was just like, it's inhuman behavior. So we're gonna sit there and I'm gonna stop listening to this shit that that they want to peddle. How many countries were they thrown out of, and for why? It makes you ask why.
Well, I mean, I think the count. I was gonna say, I think the count's like 119. 109.
Hitler did it, and that would make him 110 or 120.
Yeah, it's either 19 or 109 or 119, something right around one of those two.
I mean, mathematically, they even showed it in their own censuses back then. Like, they're like, oh, we lost this many Jews. And you're like, wait a minute, if that's, then you couldn't have grown.
Right.
Well, and that gets.
Why were your pictures taken with snow? And they're like, oh, well, because we had to go back with actors because we forgot to take cameras when we rescued them. But they were there to keep them warm, cook them.
Like,
again, they don't want any of us to believe that any of these atrocities exist. It's poor me. It's this and that, and even the stuff with Iran, like. I've seen a whole damn video. I'm sure plenty of us have, that are here, of them setting the statues of Baal on fire and ripping down all these demonic statues in Iran. There was how many other situations, like how many other countries started outing it? Like, you had Vladimir Putin, for Christ's sake, was talking about the West, how it's like they stuff their stomachs with human flesh and their pockets with money, and this vampire ball is going to come to an end. What happens when you play the long game and you've infiltrate, and now you have all of your powerful players backed by the biggest gun on the planet. Right. You know what I mean? Now you're something to fear.
Right.
And people need to go ahead, man.
Going back to, before I forget this, going back to the last part you asked me, when you asked me way back when, faith-wise, right? Religious-wise. They've politicized everything so far to the extremes that when this tries to come up and be talked about, right?
Yeah.
In church, a lot of these things don't even get brought up because they're so divisive. So then, and you don't know, after listening to Jesse, you better start questioning everybody inside that church almost, unless you're in like a small town church where you do know. But if you're sitting in the Catholic Church, you got to really think twice, because you can see the Pope. He's over there raising the flag up for the LGBTQ community. And it's like, you're supposed to be completely against that. You're not supposed to hate on them, but you're not supposed to be promoting it, So
Right.
all these things that, like, faith-wise, like, that's probably what's gotten me through this, and seeing the same thing. Like, I mean, we've talked, right? After, like, and you asked me to watch it, and I sat back and I was like, man, that is wild. And then the craziest part is my wife's ring is moissanite. And every time I look at that, I'm like, there's no possible fucking way, that they're smashing humans, or, dusting humans off, putting them into stones and selling them back to us, or putting them in, hamburger meat for, the McDonald's burger patties.
McGoyam.
We don't have
McGoyam.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
have.
It's
Well,
McGoyam.
no, it's so check this out with all that stuff. So there's been a massive increase in lab grown diamonds over the last, probably decade.
Mhm.
Like 15 years, probably. Yeah.
And I remember Jason explaining to me this once, about, like, because he had read about the diamond markets and stuff when he was in prison. And he explained it about the shelf, and there was a whole thing about it. But now you have lab grown diamonds. What do you see in the funeral industry? Oh, you can
they're now pressing human remains into diamonds.
So we could stop before anybody starts with the, that's not possible, blah blah blah. Like, it's an industry.
Fucking, you can literally look at, like, you can type in, can I turn my fucking dead father into a fucking, you know what I mean? And they'll bring you to 20 different places that'll do it.
And there, like, all of this stuff, the hunting, and we're gonna get back into the hunting a little bit. Like, it's a pay to play scheme. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of people get tricked into going into these situations, and all they need is that one split second. You make a fucking fatal error, and now they got you. And what's the best way to control governments? Blackmail.
That's exactly.
You got a powerful player on your fucking belt.
Yep.
And how do you think, like, in our country, everything is backed by lobbyists? Big pharma, big tech. They control all that shit. It's the weirdest shit. But like listen to just another example here of, like, some of the elite hunting parties. I just talked to a woman that survived one of those parties in Africa. Here's a cop. This is a cop that's explaining what he was, what he had seen himself. So here we go with this one.
Epstein turned parts of our country into a playground for the super rich. Children, vulnerable kids from poor communities, were taken, stripped, released into isolated terrain, and hunted like animals. Guns, dogs, helicopters. For sport. Survivors describe Jay-Z and Beyonce being there on at least 3 occasions, laughing, directing, even killing when the moment felt right. I'm an inspector with the Lagos State Police Command, 15 years on the force. I've seen corruption, I've seen crime, but nothing like this. We have names, dates, locations, credible enough to open a formal case. My team wanted to move fast, issue international arrest warrants, request Interpol red notices, question Jay-Z and Beyonce through diplomatic channels. We had enough to bring them in for questioning, to seek real justice for the victims and their families who still wait for answers. But then the calls started, not from Abua, from Aya, very high. The message was the same every time, drop it, shut the file, no further action. They said if we pursue this, if we name the celebrities or push for extradition, billions in development funds, health programs, security assistance would be gone overnight.
Something before this shit popped up that my wife Cass had. I can't remember if it was a video or if it was an article, but it was before all this shit really popped off, and, like, the files, I believe, had already dropped, but it it wasn't the batch that we now have that's fairly, unredacted. It was like before all this, and it was someone talking about Hillary Clinton being in a golf cart with, like, I believe a 30-06, a hunting rifle of some sort, 30-06, and was literally just like driving around and popping shots at teenagers.
Just blasting motherfuckers.
Yeah, like just like casually, like in golf clothes. You know what I mean? Like driving around in a golf cart, just fucking sniping people.
The woman's she's like
She
one of the
stayed up
most
on a hill
evil,
looking through a scope. Yeah, as well as driving around on a golf cart. Yeah.
she's one of the most evil human beings to ever exist. And she doesn't even deserve the title of human being. You know what I mean?
No.
It's
She'd make the devil blow.
Yeah.
That's right. But if you listen to like what Jesse said, and there's a lot of stuff. If you go over to the interview that dropped last night with Jesse Zabata and listen to it in the links down below, you could find all of her. She has a thing called Unveiling the System and breaking it down with the Sovereign Army, and there's so much in there. But the thing is that how many people have died, at the hands of them? I mean, I think I'm going to play this clip right now, but Patrick Bet-David, this was in relation to a frazzle drip and the insurance policy. He's had Anthony Weiner on recently, and he fucking smoked this motherfucker. And everything, if you watch everything that Anthony Weiner does, his behavior, the changes, pay close attention to this. This will show you how scared even this clown is. So I'll play this one.
Your reputation is you like to text underage girls, sending pictures of your dangling. That's your reputation. Whatever you do, you can't do anything about it. Bill Clinton officiated your wedding with Puma, your wife, if I'm not mistaken. Correct. So you've been very close, and she was a right-hand person to Hillary Clinton in 2016 while the scandal was taking place.
For years before that, she was with Hillary for 20 years. Email
650,000, one folder with the word life insurance and the files that are in there. So 9 out of 12 cops, NYPD, who saw the email and saw what was in that laptop, committed suicide. The most ever that this took place, and these are the men that committed suicide. First thing I ask myself is, how the hell is Anthony Weiner still alive? Well, when you go through the list of people that have been close to Hillary Clinton and the Clintons, this is not a conspiracy. You got the names of James McDougal, died of an apparent heart attack. Mary Mahoney, a former White House intern, was murdered July 1997 at a Starbucks coffee shop. Victor Razor, you got Ed Woolley. It's 46 names.
He's just reading the article.
He's reading a list of names.
So
he hasn't even asked the question. It's a list.
The fact that you're getting nervous is an answer.
It's not nervous. This stuff
Let
makes
me
me
wrap
sick
it.
when you repeat
Exactly. It
these
makes us
ridiculous.
want to
How about you pick one? Pick one and tell me who he was and what his story was.
Pull up Vince Foster if you want.
No, Vince Foster, that suicide has been investigated 50 times.
Can you let me ask the question?
No, listen, this is a conversation. We're having a conversation.
I'm sorry, I'm the host. You invite me to your podcast, you get to ask the question. I'm the host. I want to ask you the question. Your reaction is already an answer.
I know, I am infuriated by people
I
who drag
understand
other
why
people's
you would
names
be.
who are powerless. You're not powerless.
Hillary Clinton is powerless.
No, these people.
Hillary Clinton is powerless.
These people.
That's the problem.
These people.
Hillary's the problem.
You read a list of people because you have the power to do it. People who do that are bullies, and I don't appreciate bullies.
I have the power to do what?
You do. To read a list of some stranger's names.
I have the power to use the DOJ and other things to control.
That's not DOJ.
Yeah.
DOJ didn't make this
list.
list.
Let me finish up my
Some
question.
jackass made a list in his basement.
You have the right to
You're reading their names as if they're incriminating in some way.
Right
Some conspiracy theory podcast. A conspiracy theory that 9 people read. You find some guy that comes in, and then you go from Ron Brown to some obscure officer that used to protect Bill Clinton, who passed away.
How is it that the reputation that follows them as people close to them die?
You
Pretty
should
dark
cut that
to take
list
the
out.
angle you did. You're exactly.
Listen to me. You're talking about this now.
Oh, okay.
You should cut that list out of those people. We can still have the argument. You and I are big boys. Cut that list out.
I'm not going to be cutting that list. Okay.
You should cut that list.
Wow. I hadn't seen that one before.
Yeah, dude.
His reaction is fucking.
He's out of his fucking gourd. Him yelling about it. The fuck out of here, dude.
That's fear, because he knows.
Yeah,
he ain't got
he was
Huma.
scared of them motherfuckers.
Huma's over there with Soros. He's like,
Yeah.
I got nobody to protect me. I'm just gonna hang myself tonight. That's just what's gonna happen.
That's why Patrick Bet David's the best, bro. Like, at what he does, dude. And he got that motherfucker dead to rights. And I like how he segued it in. It's like, you got a reputation showing your dingling to little girls. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he don't give a fuck. And the thing is that, as soon as he said insurance policy, that dude was done. He didn't want to have that conversation.
Whole facial expression changed.
Oh yeah, and then telling him tell him cut that list. No, I won't be cutting that list. You know what I mean? And the thing is this needs to be discussed at length, loud, vicious. See, here we go. He's like, we got Bain over here. He said, fun fact: 104 people close to the Clintons died before he became president, which is provable. 100%, brother. They've been burying bodies for forever, dude. And then once she became, Secretary of State, how many more, and he was the president, how many more people died, at the hands of military operations? Now you have the full weight of the federal government in the military to carry out your bidding.
Did you ever notice she didn't have any issues with the CIA? Like most sitting governments, right? Like they kind of butt heads with the CIA.
Yeah.
At one point or another, Trump always does, because obviously he can't be fucked with as much as others. But she never did. I mean, we already know from the bleach kit and her emails being missing, that flat out
emails,
right, that she had the biggest insurance policy on anybody. I just don't like when you were talking about I don't understand. Okay, you guys, hey, we're gonna go out tonight. Cool, let's go out. And then you guys take me somewhere like that. You got to be a certain person to even engage. I would rather die. Than you have that kind of A, make me do that. B, have that leverage on me or that control on me. I bet, well, just do it now, because I already know your secret. So go ahead and just kill me. You know what I mean? But nobody. I mean, I can't say nobody because they're obviously dead. Whoever told them no to, hey, slap this little kid's face on, or hey, go hunt that kid down, or hey, let's go snatch this one, or let's go rape this chick, all those things that happen. If you chose no, you chose the grave. And unfortunately, you never know who those people are or were. I mean, Hillary had so much power, and when she lost to Trump is when it all fell apart, because she was defeated, and then because her health was failing, right? So who's going to start to fear that anymore? But Hub Abedin popped bolts on her too. But that, how she survived Hillary, that's what I want to know. What's her insurance? If that was Anthony's insurance, what's hers?
Well, if you heard, go ahead, Trev.
One of the things, because just to play the devil's advocate a little bit, do you guys know what scopolamine is?
Which one is it?
Scopolamine.
No.
So it's a plant. It's a flower, actually, that if you take it, it's a hallucinogenic. But if someone doses you it's GHB with it, they can basically tell you hey, we're gonna go to the ATM and you're gonna withdraw all of your money and you're gonna give it to me. And these people, whoever you dose with it, they don't have free will. It basically it's mind control, right? And what I wonder is say it's okay, fuck you, just kill me now, right? Say before you even got in that car, right, you got dosed with something, because they know you're going to say, fuck you, go ahead and kill me now. Yeah. I wonder if there's anybody that got dosed with one of, because there's 3, I believe, plants in that family that all do the same thing. So what I wonder is if there's any, just to play devil's advocate, if there's a single person on these lists of insurance or who have insurance policies against these people, like if anybody got dosed with scopolamine or one of the sister plants and woke up, had no idea what happened, and got shown a video of like, hey, look, here's you fucking a 14-year-old, or you know what I mean? Like, we drugged the girl, we told you to fuck her, you know, what XYZ, whatever. Like,
Yeah, fun proving
you know,
innocent.
right. It's like, and it's like, are those the dudes, or are those the individuals who just kill themselves? You know what I mean? Like, or,
I mean,
you know, because I like playing devil's advocate a little bit,
I
even
would.
with this sick, twisted shit. You know what I mean? Because if you don't, me personally, if you got me in something like that and were able to dose me and get me, you know, to do something like that, absolutely. Like, I would write a letter saying, I don't know what the fuck happened, investigate this shit, and I'd smoke myself.
Yeah, or I'd go after them.
Yeah,
You know
I
what
mean, this is true. Yeah, but I
me
mean,
and
when you've got a massive past government elite, when you've got a world elite person who has these insurance policies, how are you gonna get them realistically? Like, you know,
buddy.
Like, it would be unless it's somebody like you, Cody, you know what I mean? Like, who is off in a tree, right? Unless you're off in a tree fucking, you know, a mile away, like, most people aren't going to be able to do that.
That's probably why they'd never pull an insurance policy on me, because they're like, just in case.
Yeah. Gina, I believe that Epstein did use scopolamine, and I know that it's came up in a couple other
Hold on real quick, guys. I'll be right back.
You're good, Cody. A couple other situations, and then like Yali said, like, you know, somebody could be MK Ultra'd into doing something that they don't have any power over, and you know, that's what it is. And then it's like, you're fucked, you know what I mean? You're stuck in a situation. Either you've got to do whatever they tell you to do, or like I said, you've got to fucking smoke yourself, and hopefully somebody looks into it.
I mean, yeah, but don't also underestimate the power of what greed will do to people.
This is true.
Chris Gallion in the chat. What's going on, brother, man?
How's it going, sir?
So, you know, but never underestimate what the power of greed will do. You have so many individuals that just want their 2 minutes of fame that will commit heinous acts to get to that position. Like, you know, think about how many, how many people in Hollywood. Oh, you want to get this part? We'll blow Harvey Weinstein. You know what I mean? How many people in the music industry did P. Diddy rape to the top, men and women? You know, how many, and how many people were, I mean, you seen that clip, bro, about, you know, what was going on with Dwayne and Will Smith. He said he was straight murdering them, as he put it. There's murder in there. Bent over the couch,
literally
getting
as he
murdered.
put it. Yep.
You know, the fuck out of here with this. Like, dude, like, people will do heinous things for money. They've proven this so many motherfucking times that they just don't what's it called? They don't care, dude. They don't care who they got to step on to climb to get positions of power, you know, fame, you know, anything. You know, look at, you know, how do you get, you know, people to get elected, or that, you know, you get your people in there or get control of them? It's through fucked up means, bro.
Absolutely.
How many fucking politicians? I mean, you look at, you had fucking Prince Andrew, for God's sakes. He was doing all kinds of fucking weirdo shit. You have, it just keeps going, dude. And when you condition certain individuals like Hillary to move into, like, she, you know, like Jesse had stated, she was one of like the ranking members of the Mothers of Darkness.
Right.
You know, she like, you know, had deep ties to the Luciferian system. Like, you know, and you have to see like the symbols of these things are everywhere. You know, you have the bull right outside of Wall Street. You know, you know, so you see statues of Moloch in Baal, and you know, you have people that organizations that worship Astaroth. You know, some of these are ancient evils, dude, they're demons that predate even Lucifer. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, the bull was something that we had talked about the last time I was in Connecticut. That was like the first one that you and I both like, you know what I mean? We're like, what the fuck?
well, yeah, bro. Like, and then you have, here's an interesting thing that it was in about Chateau Emeraude is they have a dome on the top of this that they say inside of it there's 1,000 light fixtures in different forms of light sources within this ritual chamber. Well, George Bush Sr. was a frequent flyer to that building, to that castle, and campaigned on some of the weirdest motherfucking shit I've ever heard. You know, but he's like, oh, we're gonna come together under 1,000 points of light.
Right.
Nobody knew what the fuck that meant. Even Trump made fun of it when he was campaigning in 2016. He was like, has anybody figured out what the hell he was talking about? Like, you know,
definitely have figured it out now.
Yeah, it's like the answer was always there.
Right.
And the thing is that they played a very long game to get to this seat of power, dude. And I think, you know, even to go like, you know, the Catholic Church has already fallen. You know what I mean? You see this in the Vatican. You have an entire fucking church that's shaped like a snake's head. And if you're standing down looking straight towards, like, you know, the pulpit, it looks like the eyes of a snake and fangs with a very bizarre statue in the background. It looks like souls climbing out of hell.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, dude. In a church, like.
No, in the.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah. It's fucking, it's insanity.
You know, the Mormon faith, LDS, like all these things have been. People think that they're worshiping God. You're participating in satanic ritual, and it's just another satanic cult gathering.
My dad's best friend was this is a random story. Sorry to interrupt you. My dad's
go for it, bro.
High school got arrested because he got caught breaking into the Mormons' tabernacle. In the book, the original book that was written, he turned it to the first page, and it says right there, "This is fictional, written by such and such."
Wow.
He caught a life charge. I've talked to the dude.
What the fuck?
To the dude, yeah, he caught a life charge.
When did that happen?
Shoot, I was born in 85. I think 80s. 88, 89 is because I was really young. I would have been like 3, 4, 5, something like that. Because I talked to him when I was like 15 because I didn't believe my dad. And this dude would randomly call my dad from prison. And he'd be like, oh, I'm talking to Jimmy so-and-so. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And he told me one time, I was like, did you really get arrested for opening a book? And he's like, I absolutely did. I opened up a storybook and that's what I got in trouble for. And like, that's all.
He got a life charge in the state of Utah. Wow.
Oh, a bunch of charges, a whole bunch, and they all stuck.
Well, I'm sure like
breaking in and reading the first page of a book.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But I mean, that dude had his people back in the day killing thousands of people in the valleys that were trying to get to him. You know, like, and that's the power that, like, if you look back in history, right? So we look back to 1910. I don't remember the years that World War II, or that the Jews exactly got kicked. Everything kicked off with the Jews and Hitler, right? And then all of a sudden they come in and they all of a sudden they purchase our books, all the publishing companies, and now they control the data from day one. They've controlled that data coming to us, right? And if you ask somebody old enough, like my mom. I even asked her, you know, I was like, hey, do you remember being taught about the Holocaust? Or like your grandparents, I'm 40, so my grandparents, if they're still around, and you can ask them, they didn't teach about those things because they didn't need to. right? They hadn't made it that far in their progression. But the Rothschilds back then, the Tiny Hat crew, they went and bought the books so that they can control the narrative. Now they own the only other books that there is, and it's right
Have a
here.
good night, Bane.
You know what I mean? They own the sources of information, except for the ones that Elon keeps buying, and he's trying to shut them all down. But at the end of the day, they control the narrative, and that's where everybody. It's like you get wrapped around the axles in truth. It's like no, don't look at truth, look at source, because it may not be true at all.
Well, it's just like, when you say they aren't like the source file, like it's all of our kids, like even when I was a kid in school, like they own all of the publishing companies. They own it's literally like they can, in their own way, or in that way, they can rewrite history to whatever the fuck they want.
They bought the book. They bought the publishing company that printed the school books in 1913, if I remember right, was the year they did it. And since then, it's just became that way. And look who owns TikTok. Wow, what a shocker! Who's buying TikTok? The Jews. At the end of the day.
Well, if you look at all of it, dude. You look at even like who created mass like sites for porn. Everything.
Look at that fucking jerk off! Like that guy. I just seen a video circulating. That kid. He went and he was.
It all comes back to Jews, Gore. You're right. It's the
like this guy, Rabbi Shmuley. That you see that fucking video going around. I forgot that kid's name. The one that walked up to him was calling him a fucking pervert. Scumbag. And he, as soon as he seen a cop, he was just like, I need him arrested. He's like, officer, and this guy's supposed to be a rabbi, and he's made his money, selling dildos and all kinds of other weird ass shit, and just real deviant behavior. So,
well, and it's crazy. They don't like anybody from the outside. Like I watched a First Amendment auditor outside of a synagogue, which looked like an apartment building. It was very strange.
It was a Leering Center?
Probably a Leering Center, yes. But like dudes just recording, not saying shit, just normal First Amendment audit behavior. And this rabbi came out tweaking, like absolutely freaking out. And he's like, the dude tells him like, hey, it's my right to record anything I can see in public. Like, mind your own business. Fuck off. Get out of my face. And this dude went fucking ballistic. Like, assaulted him. Ended up pepper spraying this rabbi. Like, it was great to watch. Like, I had a fantastic time watching it. But, it's just crazy that they don't even, it's kind of weird that this synagogue is an apartment building in the first place, but whatever, like we'll move past that. But the fact that like there's an issue with somebody who is not part of your culture and your religion standing somewhere where they're allowed legally in America to stand with a camera, and you got to get so crazy that you try to rip their camera out of their hands to the point where you're getting fucking blasted in the face with pepper spray. You're hiding something. You're uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the thing is that have you seen there's towns in do I think that every Jewish person's a deviant? No. Like, I know plenty of people that just live normal lives. But there's certain areas where they're more extreme.
Right. And there's certain sects that are more extreme too.
Oh, for 100%. Yeah. Like there's a town in New Jersey. I know we've seen the video, like the guy that goes over it, and all he's doing is filming the place. Like this guy just pulls over. He's like, "Who are you, sir? Like, do I need to call the authorities? Like, dude, if I'm minding my own business and you come over with that bullshit, I'm smacking the fuck out of you."
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're not gonna come over. Like, you walk over. I've seen the videos where they walk up. There's people, Christians, just walking their kids in a U.S. in the United States of America, and you have the balls to walk up to a Christian couple and spit in their baby's face, dude. I'm hurting you.
Yeah.
I'm hurting you bad. You spit in any of my kids. I don't give a fuck. You spit in my face is going to be a problem. Yeah. You know, the fucking balls on you. It's a fucking that you think that you can go over there, and it's crazy because a few months ago we were having a different conversation about Dearborn, Michigan.
Right.
You know, I'm fucking done with this bullshit. I'm over this bullshit. You know, I'm sick and tired of it. You have fucking pedophile groups with this LGBT community that are setting up shop up in fucking Seattle, Washington. Yeah. You're not going to be a protected class of individual. You're a pedophile piece of shit.
Yeah. You're not a map. You're not a map. Map is not.
No, we're done with cutesy fucking names like that. And I'm done with fucking satanic pieces of shit that have infiltrated our government that think that they could fucking do whatever, say whatever, and we just have to eat that dick and shut up. We're done with it. You know, we're fucking over it. And I'm done with fucking, you know, crying ass pieces of shit. Oh, no more fucking kings. Oh, yeah. Put your money where your fucking mouth is and demand, you know, that the satanic powers that govern your fucking life, that rob you fucking blind. How about we hold them fucking accountable? Those are the kid. No, it's like
those are the fucking problems. Yeah.
Instead, you want to sit there and be like, "Oh, well, it's only as if Trump is the only name listed in those fucking files." How about we listed off many names tonight, mainly the Clintons, but nobody sat there. Not a single fucking one of these fringe liberal fucking pieces of shit had a fucking thing to say. While Bill Clinton smiled and laughed, you know, to even took this thing back from his lawyer.
Yeah, so he wanted to re-see that. He wanted to re-see that picture that was handed over. He was like, he wanted to see that again.
You know
sick what? Fucks, dude. Like the absolutely disgusting sick fucks.
Well, you know why hasn't anybody? This is what me and Chris were talking about. Where was the most recent hunting grounds where they just showed the video of them walking in the hoods in that video with the torches? That was recently discovered, right? Like
that's part of that sample was from a ritual that they hold in at Bohemian Grove called the Cremation of Care.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it had to be
Bohemian Grove.
So yep.
We know from researching, we know that there's one closer to us up here and up in the mountains up in Colorado, and it would not be hard to hide something like this, and nobody would think twice about hearing a couple rifles go off.
Fuck no, dude.
You could take a tank up there and fire it, nobody would fucking because it wouldn't matter. But what would it take to infiltrate, get in there, get somebody out, and somehow expose this to
at least get more information? Maybe that's something, Cody, like I know that you haven't been feeling too good, but maybe that's something we need to fucking look into. Like, I'd be down to hop a couple fences and fucking get some video. You know what I mean? I'd give a fuck.
Right. And in Walmart, look at Walmart. Why is Walmart next to interstates all of a sudden? Walmart's used to be like in the middle of town,
right?
Where welcome.
There's trafficking
hubs,
they're
snatching grab points next to a major highway that you can get on and do 75 miles an hour and book it out.
Well, have you ever seen the high price of low cost?
Yep.
Like they would set up Walmarts would set up all over the country, and it became more powerful when they went into like the rural areas. So the farming communities, because Walmart will always start adding whatever is the biggest sellers in those areas. So they set up in these things. They put every mom and pop business on they put them out. It was so fucking bad, bro. Like that. Once you destroy the economy, and those farming towns, they rely on their local economy.
Heck yeah, they do. Absolutely.
And it's like, so if you're a fucking cattle rancher, and I got certain supplies that you need. Maybe I got better deals on fucking hay bales and stuff like that. It's you come in, you're gonna buy it from me, you're gonna support my ass. You know what I mean? I'm going to help you, give you a good deal so I'm not breaking your fucking back. And then, they come in and they fucking push it at the, they put us all out of business. And eventually you have to pay, what they set the price as. And now it's cutting into your profits, make it harder. And then what happens once, these businesses buckle and go underneath? Well, people move away. You have no economy anymore. That's why if you go through the Midwest, there's nothing but empty fucking Walmarts, and then they started outfitting them to become FEMA centers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's too much. Like, I even, because the closest Walmart to me and Cody is right off of I-25. And, like, I tell Cass all the time, like, take a pistol with you, please.
Kate won't take the kids. Won't. Yeah. Maybe her and one, right?
Right. But not the whole squad. Yeah.
Nope, too much. But if you watch our Facebook groups around here, there's women 2-3 times a day, if not at least 3 times a week, that's on there like, oh, I was walking in my car and I got followed by like 6 dudes, and then this weirdo was sitting on my hood and like all this
weird shit, dude.
And there's 10 cops out there all the time, and they're sitting in their car right at the front door. Are you protecting them, or are you protecting the people? Because I don't see how
it's like
she's that scared. If there's a cop sitting there, she chose to get in her car and leave.
Well, you know what? When all this, we have this, there's a standard, and you see this between it just kind of everywhere. This soft on predator, soft on demon approach. You see this is most relevant, and there's so many cases like Jason's. Jason's just has like with the name that the media gave him, it's easy to gives it a little more notoriety. But I mean, how many cases where look at Jay, 23 years for assault and battery, strong arm robbery, and he's still technically incarcerated. And the guy he took a hammer to raped a 10-month-old baby. He got fucking a fraction of that. That time, like the combined sentences of the 3 people he beat up was 6 years, 9 months. It's a joke. And the thing is that this happens in a lot of the European countries as well. We have a responsibility with the United States, Canada, like, the Western standard. You know what I mean? Like, we need to, like, I think more than ever, both United States, Canada, all the people, we need to tell all of our powers that be to shut the fuck up. You're done. You don't work for us no more. You don't care about us. And like, we had great relationships with them. And I think normal people do. Like, us normal people, I respect, my brothers and sisters in Canada. You know what I mean? But they want to shut these they want to create division and shut us down from our neighbors, because while they, whoever the shot callers and the powers that be, they stitch their control and make sure what are they going to do? Manufacture a war between us? Like, it's ridiculous. Ain't nobody going to fight that battle on either side. Like, but we all have to, in the West, we need to become the beacon that we once were.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And without the fear of like, who cares if we have to replace 500 representatives, or if we have to replace 50 or 100 senators?
Hey, hold on, be proud that you're Canadian, brother. Be proud that you're Canadian. Like, I'm proud that I'm American. Just because I fucking hate the demonic pieces of shit that happen to be running the United States doesn't mean that I'm not a proud American.
That's not the majority of us,
right? Because it's like, so many great people in both these countries that actually give a shit about protecting people. If you think it's bad there, bro, it's pretty rough over here too. Ain't no prize. I mean, we look like a goddamn episode of Jerry Springer over here. Like, you got people dressed up like fucking inflatable costumes running around like the revolutionaries. We're like we're telling the mentally ill that they're heroes. Our suicide rates are off the fucking charts. They're targeting young kids with both like aggressive, like life-changing surgeries. Like, they support, teachers, I just had this conversation with my son's principal today. It's like, now I want to keep that in mind. These motherfuckers like arrested my son, who's 14 years old. They had him arrested because he had the audacity to ask a question about Charlie Kirk. But they're gonna make this kid, or read and watch and about No Kings. Like that's something to celebrate. A bunch of pedophile, deviant pieces of shit that are calling for the murder of federal law enforcement. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, for a fucking school to do that, they're fucking smoking crack, dude. Like that's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, unfortunately, it's the one party that every time they get in power, they want to dictate things to us. They want to shut us all down. They want to force us to take vaccines. They want to force us to do this. And like Chris was saying, like it doesn't matter which side of the aisle you're on. If you can't agree, you need to stay outside the lines, or you need to fall in line, because it's not about if you're a liberal, or if you're a conservative, or if you're a Tea Party member, or if you're a libertarian. We should all agree that our children are off
American right in the
limits.
house.
And if you can't agree that my kid's off fucking limits, and you think that my four-year-old kid and my 6-year-old daughter is attractive to you, go out back and end it yourself, because we're coming after you eventually. We're gonna get these ones out of here, and we're gonna start finding the sick ones, and it's not curable. It is not.
No.
There's no reason for it, because I don't look at my son and think I can just go destroy his innocence, or any kid's innocence, in any kind of way. I don't even want to hurt them physically on accident, much less physically harm them by whether that's
and scar them for fucking life. Yeah,
hunting them. And I'm not even saying just doing something disgusting like a pedophile would. I'm saying like hunt them or catch them. We're gonna go play hide and go seek, and then next thing you know, they're using the dresser to end the kid's existence. Right. Like, what kind of person is playing hide and seek and takes it to that level? You need to be taken off this planet and put somewhere else.
You need to be
100%.
There is no, and like the fucking people who are like, oh well, why can't we just put them all on an island together? Fuck that. Take them outside, take them out back. Fuck, take them to the town square and put a fucking noose around their neck or put a bullet in their fucking head.
I support the old New England way. We used to burn witches at the stake and demons at the stake. Them. Absolutely. I mean, it just, what, if you want to call it, and I'm going to do this a blanket thing. If there is anybody that is like openly engaging and willingly,
I got to roll. I'll see you guys.
All right, bro. I love you, brother.
Guys, sorry to make it fast. We'll talk more.
Hell yeah, bro.
See ya.
All right. Bye. Be sure that just one more thing. Kayla or Cash, share the one more mission. Leave no warrior behind for Brother Cody Bowden, and check out the amazing reel that the founder put together for Brother Cody. We got to help this man.
Which founder is in the house. Thank you, Chris, for being here. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Like, boy, the hell was burn them at the stake.
Yeah.
If you are going to cause harm to anybody, if you're going to be whether if you're a fent trafficker, human trafficker, any of that, you want to openly cause harm to society. Just there's a one-way ticket out.
Fentanyl is fucking chemical warfare that they're sending by the fucking kilo, by the ton into the U.S. So fuck them too. You're completely right. It is past the point. Like, if we are gonna save this country, like, we need to get radical. And like, I know that like I don't ever want to use this platform as a call to violence or anything like that. But
there's ways to do it.
Right. You got to look at yourself in the mirror, think deeply, and try to figure out how or what it's going to affect. And for me, like, if we were to radicalize our country to the point where pedophiles, satanic fucking leaders, like fentanyl dealers, cartel members, anybody who is not supporting what America originally stood for needs to be fucking cooked. Like, you know, if they're here, even like I was very, very happy because like I saw this video, this is maybe a week ago, where and it almost brought tears to my eyes because, you know, I believe that if you want to be in America, you should do so legally. And this man who had a whole ass family, he's, you know, he was from Mexico, his kids were born here, his wife was from here, he self-deported and came back 2 weeks later, full, all good, like in 2 weeks. Like, if you want to be here, like, that shows that that man has the want and the will and the drive to be an American citizen and do it the right way. If you're not willing to do something like that, if you're here illegally, in my opinion, that's another, like, you got to go. We don't have enough resources to, you know, fight everything that we are looking at fighting and also deal with having, you know, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people here illegally.
Right.
And a lot of those people are bumping up crime statistics like a motherfucker. You know, whether it's selling fentanyl, whether it's, you know, child trafficking, whatever it is. Like, I'm sorry, but we don't need any other country's fucking rapists and murderers here.
Well, yeah, you know what? And that's the thing. I can't stomach it anymore, and it's kind of where No More Mercy, everything is. This whole campaign is going to be built on. There is so much darkness that has gone on in this fucking life, in this world, that there's just no more room for it. There's a point when we're allowed to live in peace too. We're allowed to, you know, our kids should have the freedom to they can go outside, you know, to play without, you know, concern that some pedophile neighbor is going to come slithering on over. And if, you know, and the reason they're going to do that because he's going to get like a slap on the fucking wrist.
Right.
You know,
dude, like I've said multiple times, Colorado is horrible with it, dude. Like, first, second, third, like, dude, I've seen when I was in prison, I saw people on their third offense that finally got sent to prison, like third offense on kiddie charges, finally got sent to prison. Sure, it sounds great in Colorado. You catch a sex case, you get a 2 to life sentence. That sounds fucking great, right? Oh, they're gonna do life. These motherfuckers, as soon as they hit their 2-year mark, they get a parole date and they are fucking gone, out the door, ready to go fuck more kids. Like, it's a waste of fucking resources. It's not help. Like, you're just creating and allowing more victims to fucking happen. It's, you know, if we're gonna do 2 to life, it needs to not be 2 to life. It needs to be life sentences.
For sure.
Period. You know, 100%. And like I said, like, in my opinion, fuck, dude, that we don't need to send them to prison, let them sit on death row for 10 years, and then fucking give them a nice little shot and let them go to sleep. No, burn them at the stake. Fucking take them out into the middle of the fucking, you know, city, in the middle of the fucking town square. Fucking smoke them. Do whatever. Like, Blood Eagle. I don't give a fuck. I'm over the shit.
Right. Yeah. So am I, bro. I've had enough, dude. So over the next couple weeks, we're gonna be ripping in 100% breakdown. This is one more of a generalized sit down. We are going to be breaking down into individual things. We're going to be going into the Jeffrey Epstein files. We're going to be showcasing situations on satanic ritual abuse, the drug trafficking markets, the suicide rates. We're going to be celebrating. We have 3 weeks, significant weeks planned. We're heading into what's called the Suffering Week. Like, it's going to kick off with Sherry Alsop. It's an amazing interview. You do not want to miss that interview. We'll also be doing, let me just fire this off real quick. For our next live, we're going to do the Herald of Atrocity.
If you're watching this, it means they got me. did not die by accident. I was murdered to keep their secrets buried. My name is Virginia Louise Giuffre. I was one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims.
President Trump signed the Epstein Files Transparency Act into law on November 19th.
Mr. Epstein, how long have you been sexually attracted to underage minor females?
That will be we'll be doing the breakdown into the Herald of Atrocity live. And I mean, we're going to rip into that. We're just getting all the documents and the right things set up. There'll be collabs throughout the month. Pain, Power, Purpose. We're going to have him on. I was just talking to Jay Cocky tonight. We're going to have a whole thing. We'll do it's going to be covering the Predator Hunters, but we're also going to be celebrating our sister Chloe Roma in the work that she has done, the tireless work. We'll be doing Avenger Week. We'll be sitting down with Brother Jay live. So bring your questions and anything you have. Keep it respectful, and you'll be thrown on your face.
We're working on something with JD.
Yep, and there'll be Wood Chipper Week, which will be once we iron it out with Brother JD. That we will have. We're going to celebrate the work that JD has put in. And I've talked to JD a little bit on Instagram. I know Trevor's talked with him, so it's just a matter of just locking down a time frame, and we'll get fucking crazy, and it's gonna be great. And there's a lot of other surprises and interviews and stuff that are gonna drop throughout this month. More survivors of the Satanic elite. It's gonna, no more mercy is gonna go until we say it ends, and hopefully that ends by vicious tribunals for all the scum that want to hurt our kids, that want to harm our way of life. We're done with it. This is your fucking notice. And we have this. I also want to throw out. It's time for our plug. Cody had left, but if you're looking for Roll the Bones official merchandise, it's out. We have let me go grab one of them. One of our new shirts. Let me see. You can grab yourself an official No More Mercy Roll the Bones t-shirt. Just head up Sergeant Cody Bowden. He can take care of that for you. We got some we officially got
high quality. I just got to say too, they are high quality shirts, man. I've watched Cody and put together, buy all of the best equipment that money can buy, and they have put their heart and their soul into this. And with helping us out by printing our merch, it's we're able to give money to give part of the proceeds to Cody, help him out with everything he's got going on medically. And they're great products. They're absolutely great. You're not going to find anything better.
This is also, Brother Chris has got some coming in the mail, fresh off the line. Him and his wife, Also, you can go over and you can get this dope ass American Right gear, the founder hat. Chris, America first, America always for us. And also, you can go head on over to the AlaskanAvenger.com. I know it's I don't have anything for the spring on me at the moment, but I do got this dope Alaskan Avenger One Light t-shirt for the Halloween. Jay's got all kinds of great shit over there. He's got hats, shirts, hoodies. We got all kinds of great shit. And also, we support Chloe Roma. I don't know what our sisters got as far as merchandise. And obviously, you can get on over to Bunker Branding. I want everybody to, buy yourself some Make Pedophiles Afraid Again merch and what Brother JD's hustling over there. I want everybody decked out, American Reich, One Light, Roll the Bones, hell, and these brand new Kill 'em with Success shirts from Brother Ant, which he brings me to this one. The official drink of choice of the Roll the Bones podcast, the Patso Signature Blend. This made in America, American made, and it's also the founder of it. It's his goddamn birthday today. So, happy birthday,
Ant.
We had a great, weird night, but it's like, I gotta I wish you the best, my brother. Manja bene. It's, we have to stand in solidarity. Whether you agree on policies or whatever, you can debate that later. But we have to get these demonic pieces of shit out of our schools, away from our kids, out of our youth programs, out of our churches, out of no more room for these pedophile, child abuse, and scumbag pieces of shit. No more of these government satanic pieces of trash, killing our people and robbing us blind. We're done with it. So Chris Gallion for president.
Yes, Chris Gallion for president. Absolutely. Fuck the two-party system. Let's get a real leader.
Jim Beam is better depending on where you're drinking it. But if you're looking for a classy night, the Patso Signature Blend will take you to where you need to.
It's the best wine I've ever had, for sure.
Yeah, low sulfates, no headaches. Yeah.
Yep.
And check out the interview the first drop of the No More Mercy campaign with Jesse Zabater. It's a tough one, and I mean a lot of the interviews we're going to conduct over the next month, whether it's through lives, there'll be collabs with the War Network, James Stryker. There'll be collabs with Steve from Pain, Power, Purpose. We have Kevin Donaldson. There's a lot of the Suffering podcast. Brother Jason. We have stuff with our sister Chloe, Brother JD, and family members. We have the First Wife Takeover coming up in Avenger Week. It's a couple weeks from now, but our sister Yali is in the chat. Roll the Bones going international. Going to hear the truth about what's going on in South Africa and their way of life, and it's a great interview. You don't want to miss it.
The wives did good, man. I'm proud of both of them.
And well, you know what? They can accuse you. They accuse you of being a white power person even if you say you hate pedophiles. I've learned that in social media.
Yeah, this is true.
I mean, if people should watch me and Brother Chris sit down, it's like he explains what the American Reich is about. What it stands for. It's protecting American people, our way of life, and stopping it from Zionist maniacs, fringe, scumbag, pedophile pieces of shit. But we have, Americans, we have to stand together. Not every, person, whether you agree with them or not, it's fine, but we have common ground arguments that can at least bring us to the middle. We can debate policies later on. And rebuild from that. But we need to get these scum that have been robbing us blind and, feeding us propaganda and horse shit and allowing pedophiles to teach, kindergarten classes, and they spend more time in some of these states teaching their kid how to be a fucking activist. And it's always,
the Jews running fucking everything.
Hey, if there's shekels to be made and baby foreskins for them to, do whatever with, you can count on they'll be there.
They will always be there.
But it's like, treat everybody around you with as much kindness as you can. And if it's a pedophile, make sure you tell them, get the fuck out. We have no room for you. Protect your kids. If you see another person fucking with someone's kid, make sure you let them, put them on notice.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going anywhere. This movement's going to get loud, vicious, and stand in solidarity. I don't give a fuck where you come from. If you're going to come approach us with protecting kids, then we have something to talk about, and you'll be always welcome here. And if you're a survivor or something and you want a safe place to go, this is your place to be. And I'm sorry. I mean, we're going to have some uncomfortable conversations, but they're conversations that need to be had.
Yep.
And I understand that some of these things are really dark and it makes people uncomfortable, but I want you to consider this. What are these victims going through?
Right.
And really consider that when you go home, and I'm going to quote Brother Jay here. It's more important than ever. As Jay always closes out his lives, he always says, hug someone close to you, and, keep, enjoy those small moments with your children, with your family, your wives, and your husbands, your brothers, your sisters. Look out for one another out there. I mean, this darkness will only be temporary. Where I feel like we're, the light is starting to shine and we're starting to drag these monsters. And I have a feeling that hopefully within the next year or so, we could be all having a different conversation.
That is the fucking plan.
So, that's right, Dre. The blinders need to come off.
Blinders to come off. And, like I've been saying, all gas, no brakes. This right here, this campaign that Chris and I are doing right now is going to be fucking heavy. And I want everybody who, we've got our people who are always here. I just want you guys to always remember that even though we're talking about heavy shit, if it affects you, if you don't, if it's too much for you for a night, take a break. There's no problem. I couldn't do, I can't do some of these interviews because I just can't. So, just make sure that you're good with yourself, you're good with your God, and you're good, that you're doing everything you can for yourself as well. And we appreciate you guys always being here for us.
I see there's so many great people that we've met, especially now is getting people to come up to me in the area and they appreciate some of the stuff. I mean, they think me and you are nuts, but I mean, that's okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
If you really think I'm nuts based on what I say online, you should see me out to dinner when I'm screaming Manja Bene and eating red pepper stuff that will melt steel. But it does mean a lot. There's been stories and people that have approached us that have shared some very dark things in their life. And those are the conversations, the ones that will never get aired. Those are the ones that I appreciate the most.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of trust to put in me and Brother Trev. It's and Cody and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. If you're going through some bullshit, like, it's an open door policy. You can DM us, and things get busy. We're getting hit with all kinds of death threats and from fringe maniacs and other people, and there's business and it's tough. But Trev will tell you, I try to keep up on the as best I can onto the DMs and respond the best I can. But
I'm always available too.
You got Trev. You got the RTB tag right next to his name. You can find him up on Instagram if you can't. If you post in the community section, hey, I'm just looking to get in touch with somebody or whatever. The work email's up there. You can email there, and we can get one of the members of this crew to get back to you. If you want to talk to a woman, we got Cass or we got Red. You could talk with them or Michelle. We never want to have anybody feel alone. Like you got no options. You got no one to talk to. We got resources for days, and damn near they're meant for people that need them.
Yeah.
So, is there anything you want to close it out with? Yes. Move past it, Trev. You're staring at me. Yes, I don't have a beard.
I know it's just. It is what it is. I've already said how I feel about it.
I had the damn Jew flu.
Listen, I get it.
Off of my face.
No, I mean the only thing, bro. Like as always, the last thing I always have to say is fuck Mossad, and that's what I've got.
Yeah, I think we're getting there. So fuck you, Jeffrey Marsh. Yeah, I'm working my way towards you, buddy. I'm working my way towards you. So with that being said, with this whole thing, you have to stand and deliver. Put your money where your mouth is. And in this life, you got to ride for something or die for nothing. We absolutely love all of you. And we're going to catch you in we're going to be, me and Trump be going live a couple times a week.
Yep.
We're going to probably do another, just a hangout live, just, with the water cooler. You know what I mean? Just take a breather from all this dark shit. But, we love y'all. We'll talk to you later.
Have a good night.